Welcome back to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. Bruce Woodburn alongside Cleve Loveland, the voice of real estate. We got a lot of things to cover. Call the Lone Ranger. Get yourself already approved for your financing so you can make a great offer, man. Here's what I'd like. I'll tell you what. Go get your pre-approval for me, and then let's work Cleve on some of them listings. How about that? We do that. We could have fun with that, couldn't we? He loves it when I do that. It's when he gets on the air and says, oh, yeah, the Lone Ranger's got interest rates at 3.5%. Cleve's doing free listings these days and doesn't charge a buyer's commission. How do you like that, Cleve? We'll get back at him. Okay. Cleve's out and about now. He's left the studio, so I can get away with saying some of that stuff till he listens to me as he's getting in the car. So here we go. We got this remainder of this 15 minutes and then all 15 minutes to cover a lot of ground. So I want to get down to some really cool topics. So first of all, I want to talk to folks that may want to buy a home. They have a family member that might be able to help them, but they're not quite sure how to do it. So if you're a parent, a grandparent, you have adult children, and you want to help them out and they're renting, we know affordability is tough. But why do you want to wait for you to die for them to inherit money? They're just going to buy a Boston Whaler. They're going to buy an 80-inch screen TV. They're going to buy a Harley Davidson. They're going to waste your money. All your hard-earned retirement's going to be gone. So what do you need to do now? We need to help them into a home because this may be their only opportunity for a long time to come because wages aren't catching up. So why don't you help them out with a down payment? Maybe you've got a house that you'd like to even give them. Maybe you'd like to give them a property that you own. I'm going to talk about gifts and gifts of equity. So here's the deal. You don't have to have the down payment. A gift may solve the problem. So one of the biggest reasons people tell me that they can't buy is, Bruce, I don't have enough money saved. My next question is, do you have a family member who wants to help? If that's yes, maybe buyers don't realize that conventional and FHA financing allow for a proper documented gift. And here's how you do it. Let's talk about conventional first. So we're going to keep it super simple here. Gift funds can come from an eligible donor. They can't come from a friend. They can't come from your buddy. They can't come from a lot of places, but they can come from a family member, a parent, a grandparent, a sibling, a child, a spouse, or other qualifying relationships. Certain other establishment or familiar types of relationships can qualify under conventional guidelines. So the money can be potentially used towards down payment, closing costs, prepaid escrows, all kinds of things, buying the rate down. You can use family members' money for that. On an eligible one-unit property residence, the gift can potentially cover the entire required down payment, closing costs, everything. The donor signs a gift letter. It must be truly a gift, not expected to be repaid. And the gift letter actually says that. This is a gift. It is not intended or implied to be repaid. We document where the money came from the donor. Okay, so I'm going to see the donor's bank statements because I've got to document that you've got enough funds to do it. All right, now, here's the way it works. You don't necessarily need to save every dollar of the down payment yourself. Here's how we're going to do it. Let's talk about FHA and see how that's going to work for you. Because FHA's pretty darn flexible with credit scores and all kinds of things. So FHA also is very gift friendly. Eligible family members can provide the gifts. FHA also permits certain other eligible donors under its guidelines. So the gifts can potentially help cover the 3.5% down payment. It could cover all your closing costs. And all we need again is a gift letter that document the money from the donor, no payment expected to be repaid. So FHA requires 3.5% down, but that doesn't necessarily mean 3.5% has to come from your pocket. So here's how I like to do it. Let's just say you got a $400,000 house and maybe mom owes $100,000, but she wants to also walk away with $100,000. So I'll structure that loan So would I do the loan for 200,000 so mom could pay off her mortgage in 100? No, I'm not going to do it that way. We'll do it for about 400 and we're going to have a $200,000 gift. Now, some may say there's tax consequences to that. We can discuss that and how that works in a consultation with me. But here's why I do it. If I do it this way, now you don't pay any private mortgage insurance, and I don't tank the neighborhood for value. You don't want to do that. So it's simple. It's a gift of equity. So I always do it so we back into the gift and it covers closing costs and down payments. I've been doing this for 32 years. I've helped hundreds of people do this. So here's the thing. Here's a simple example. Parents own a home for 400. They sell it to their daughter. Parents provide a $40,000 gift of equity. They're essentially given their $40,000 of value they already own. They don't have to withdraw 40 grand from the bank account and hand it to her. Depending on the loan and the transaction, that equity may help satisfy down payment and certain closing costs requirement. In most cases, it's absolutely going to cover all of that. Now, on a conventional loan, gift of equity is permitted from an eligible donator, but it's got to be a primary residence or a second home. You can't do it on investment property. Those are Fannie Mae rules. Can potentially cover some or all of the down payment, closing costs, or prepaids. Proper gifts documented and settlement statement disclosed are required, so we do have to document it. Now, back to an FHA loan. FHA also permits gifts of equity. So I love gifts of equity. So I just did one for a client. I've known this guy for years. I did his mortgage years ago, and he's retired, and he still owned a home next to one of my rental properties. And he's like, Bruce, I want to give this to my son-in-law. And he actually sounds like that. Bruce, I want to give it. I hadn't talked to you in a long time. I want to gift it to my son-in-law. And how do I do it? Man, I'm telling you what, this guy would have never been able to buy this home if his parents did not do it. And it worked out unbelievable. And he ended up getting into the house. We did conventional loan. There was no PMI. And man, it just worked out perfect. He could have never bought the house. So if you have a home you want to sell to your kids, talk to me first. Just talk to me first. If you've got money and you're going to end up giving an inheritance, help your kids before you die, because they're going to piss your money away. I'm telling you right now, if they're not used to having the responsibility of home ownership and you die and you leave it to them, it's not going to be a pretty picture. And if you want some more advice, make sure you have a will and trust and a ladybird deed. Will, trust, ladybird deed. Okay. That's what you need to have to avoid probate. That's how you do it. Okay. Here's the deal. Back to FHA. FHA, super simple, easier to qualify, just super, super easy. Before mom and dad list that house for sale, call me. There may be a way to keep both the house and some of that family wealth in the family. Before anybody transfers money, writes a contract, or puts the family home on the market, call me, because you can avoid the real estate deal in this too if we need to. 407-706-3313 or 813-213-4009 or 407-250-9144 or go to WeBringYouHome.com. Just go to WeBringYouHome.com or pick up the phone. My cell number, 407-250-9144. That's all you got to remember. Cleve Loveland, the voice of real estate. He can help you too. He's great. When we come back, I'm going to talk about how you can save money if you're a W-2 wage earner and you have no way to write off your expenses. This is what I bring to the table for my clients. You ain't going to get that from the loan officer at the credit union. You ain't going to get that from the teller at the Bank of America. It don't happen, folks. You get that from the loan arranger. Why? Because he's got the experience. He's no nonsense. And by God, he's handsome and he's a lot of fun. 407-250-9144 or go to webringyouhome.com. When I get back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about saving tax dollars as a W-2 wage earner. Self-employed people already have a benefit. You already know how I help you. Now I'm going to help you W-2 wage earners. So do not go anywhere. Write my number down, 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com, or Cleve Loveland, the voice of real estate, at 407-352-8118. Be back in 5 minutes.